How's it going, my friends? We have got another Pokemon Online battle narration for you guys. This one is against Omega Pro, a friend of mine. We've done quite a few videos together, so most of my subscribers should know who he is, at least vaguely, or at least have heard the name. But nonetheless, I don't have a team preview for this battle because we didn't know exactly what would be consisting of the other person's team because, you know, we went into this without a team preview, and usually the only reason why people talk about a team preview is to say, like, so I saw his team and I figured I should do blank, you know, or whatever. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into this battle. So he leads off with his Bronzong and I lead off with my Ambipom because my Ambipom is sort of a miscellaneous lead that I can do. I sort of thought that he would change out, not wanting to take a low kick or something, but it was a good move for him to stay in because a low kick really wouldn't do that much damage to him. So I went for the pursuit and then I went for a U-turn now because he went ahead and toxicked me, which was good on his part, as he sets up the rocks because I guess he figured I was going to get out, or at least that I wouldn't be doing a whole lot of damage to him. And he switches out into his Claydol, and I'd gone for the Shadow Ball. I want to say, I remember that I'd sort of figured Claydol was likely to resist the fire move, but I wasn't too sure, but I figured Shadow Ball was a good bet, you know, in case he switched into something else, because I don't think he has a normal type on his team, so I couldn't really go wrong with it. He sets up the Stone Edge, which I was expecting, and I sent out my Swampert to resist it, and he gets his Flame Orb activated, and I'm like, oh shit, so I switch back out into my Chandelure, because I figured a Facade or a Close Combat or something was pretty likely, so that'll just give me a free turn to do burn damage to him. I go for the Psychic, which almost kills him, and I was so pissed that it didn't, but he does go for the Mega Horn, which barely does any damage to me, so I would assume that all he had was like Close Combat, Stone Edge and stuff. I don't know. So I don't know why he didn't go for the Stone Edge. I guess he must have been predicting me to change out. But anyway, I used a Psychic on his Crobat because I luckily outsped him because my my Chandelure was Choice Scarfed. And right here, he was being sent out because I figured that he didn't want to be revenge killed. He was probably going to take out his Crobat and sack it later, so I went for the Pursuit. And now we're back how we started, Bronzong versus Ambipom. And luckily, though, my Ambipom was toxic and not burnt. That's sort of a good thing because I hate it when my Ambipom gets burned because then he's practically useless. You know, he can do a fake out, but it'll barely do any damage. He goes for the EQ. I predict that he's going to go for another one, so I sent out my Zapdos, and he, of course, does go for another one because, you know, that was doing fairly well against my Ambipom. That and the Poison would have eventually killed me, and I really didn't know exactly what he was going to go for, so I just went for the Roost, kind of thinking he might change out, but then he goes for the Toxic, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't like getting these status ailments, and I just gone for a Thunderbolt, which luckily had a crit. I am pretty sure that that mattered because I don't think that a T-Bolt would have been able to just naturally defeat a Chandelure in one hit because Chandelures aren't exactly that bulky at all. In fact, they're pretty frail, but, you know, still, that was a lot of damage. Anyway, he goes for the Calm Mind on his Raikou as I just go for the Heat Wave, kind of hoping to get a status ailment on him. He goes for another Calm Mind, and I'm kind of like, this is going to get bad. I'm about to get swept or something. I figured he was about to turn the game around really fast or something like that, but I had switched out into Swampert thinking he might go ahead and go for a T-Bolt or something like that, because I didn't know if he would be having maybe an HP Ice or something that he would have used against it, but he instead just goes for the extra Sensory, and that knocks out my my Swampert. Really not much of a problem, though, with all those Calm Minds. And at this point, I go for the Retaliate, which knocks out his Raikou. I was pretty lucky to outspeed him and all that stuff. And anyway, so he sends out his Bronzong, and I go for my Cobalion. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, because I really haven't seen a whole lot of UU matches with a Cobalion in it. And but anyway, he just goes for the Earthquake, as I just go for the X-Scissor, kind of hoping to just do some random damage, because I wasn't really sure exactly how much a Close Combat would do to it, but you know, I just gone for the X-Scissor, and this time I do go for a Close Combat. It does a lot more, which I should have expected. And he goes for another Earthquake, which finishes off my Cobalion pretty easily. And now I'm down to 3 Pokemon, trying to finish off his Bronzong. And, of course, I send out my Zapdos and go for a pretty easy Heat Wave to finish off his Bronzong. And that is the end of this battle. I would like to thank you all for watching. Hope you have a nice day, and goodbye!